once had the honor of being at a small dinner with Jeff Bezos in Monterey, California. Just about 4 or 5 people. It was a quiet dinner in the wintertime and stuff. And he did something very interesting. He listened to what people were saying at the table. He wasn't strutting, he wasn't showing off, and he didn't do the thing like, well, I'm going to pretend to listen, I'm going to give pearls of wisdom. He genuinely was brighter and more insightful after the dinner than before. I thought, this is a man who's on the path. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
He had no need to show off and to let us know that he was like a rich man with a successful company.
Yeah.
We knew that already.
Yeah, it's one of the traits I think of all the people we've interviewed is that they're nice and to a certain extent, and they certainly listen and they're empathetic. Do you think those are the traits that they've had all the way along that has got them to their top, or do you think they've got to the top and they're relaxed because they're now the CEO of Amazon, for example, worth hundreds of billions?
I think there's 2 paths to the top. I'm interested because one of the next books I'm going to write is called Nice Guys Finish First, at least sometimes, and here's how. There's a way to the top which is not being nice at all. I have a friend who works in the garment trade, like the big retail fashion and stuff in New York City. And lying, unscrupulous jerks rise to the top very quickly. Everybody hates their guts. The moment they show any weakness, they're brought down very quickly. The knives are out. Being decent, forming alliances, sharing credit, usually takes longer, but it's more robust. If you look at almost any field, there's those 2 sorts of people rise. I won't mention names for legal reasons, but we know who they are. In banking and high tech, the reputation's there. And the really jerky way often works. Bullies are often very successful, baring their teeth outward. Screaming often works quite well within a company. People are scared of you, so it does well.
Yeah.
Toting up to the boss, stealing credit. All those can work. It's a possible path, but it's not the only possible path. There's another possible path where the guy, John Warnock, who's head of Adobe Photo Systems, is a really kind, decent man. He shares credit, so people know if they work with him, credit goes down there. He'll be firm. Sometimes he's had to fire people, but you can fire people without being malicious or nasty about it. You don't have to give them a cardboard box and kick them out within 20 minutes.
Right.
Help with retraining, be honest and sincere.
Yeah.
Also, there's better information transfer. If a boss is nice and decent, people will speak to him. When Einstein was early in his career, he could share information and people would share information with him. They knew that he was going to be open, he was receptive. When he was older and closed off to quantum mechanics, it was a waste of time to try to give him information. It made him more and more isolated. An office that's run by terror, the heck you're going to tell your boss anything, you'll just get an earful.
Yeah.
People in airplane cockpits have had to study that a real lot. Many of the major accidents in the last 20 or 30 years came because the co-pilot didn't dare say a word to the pilot. Isn't that something?
Right.
And many airlines, especially from cultures which are very hierarchical, have had to change the rules, and they practice the new psychology inside a cockpit that the most junior person can pass on information. The captain has to listen.
So what you're saying is there's 2 routes. There's a route of being ruthless like that, but there's also sort of more of a collaborative building approach, and both work.
Both are possible.
Yeah.
Now, some fields make it easier than others.
Yeah.
To be a quiet academic, it's easier to be like gentle and sit around. There can be backbiting there, but the stakes are slight. The truly vicious people won't waste their time because the salaries are small.
Yeah.
Media is famous for having a backbiting because the stakes are enormous and surface appearance is really important. Technical people are usually better, or any technical thing, because you can objectively judge what it is. People who do karate at high international levels usually have something, they're kind of weird in the head because it's often done by touch. People who do long jump, it's subjective. You just jump and see who can jump longer.
Right.
Divers, for example, tend to be terribly neurotic because it's just a number. Swimmers in 50 or 100 meters, occasionally they can be spoiled idiots, as certain American swimmers have demonstrated in Rio. But they tend not to be superstitious. They just, it's objective. Let's get in the pool and see who's better.